are spending entire years responding to problems and calling it productivity. And because it's been your normal for so long, you don't realize that something else is happening. For us, being responsive gets rewarded. And while that may be true, you're not consciously aware of how over-identifying with that narrative makes you more susceptible to being overextended, overworked, and underappreciated. Some of you are spending entire years responding to problems and calling it productivity. You wake up and you're already behind, you're already mentally overwhelmed, and your heart is racing thinking about all the things that you have to get done. And because that's been your normal for so long, you don't realize that something else is happening. Your life is being subtly redirected away from the things that matter to you most in real time. Urgency changes how you think. It narrows your focus, it speeds up the way you make decisions, and it trains your brain to prioritize immediate relief over strategic direction. So the moment something feels pressing, you respond to it quickly. You begin to run a default set of responses in your emotion to relieve the stress and get it out of the queue. And it's not always because what you're handling is the most important thing on the list, but it's because whatever it is applied some pressure and your nervous system wants that pressure gone. And understanding that difference changes entire lives. And many of you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the moment when you've decided today is the day that I'm going to finally tackle that thing that's been on the back burner. Whether it's your business plans, whether it's finally taking care of your health, vision planning for your future, or just taking much needed time to decompress. Then you get some type of notification. Whether it's a bill that you get in the mail that's unexpected, or someone you love calls you with a need and you don't quite feel right saying no, or you just so happen to pick up your phone and realize that there is a new development that makes you feel stressed, anxious, or like your future isn't so secure. And suddenly your entire day shifts direction. And it doesn't happen intentionally. It happens reactively, and it happens before you even realize you're off track. And by the end of the day, that thing that you needed to do, that thing that could have moved your life one step further, received whatever energy you had left over, if any at all. And this is exactly where many Black women get trapped. Because for us, being responsive gets rewarded. Showing up, being the one who handles everything gets praised. Being able to shoulder insurmountable amount of pressure and making it look good becomes a part of your identity. So the internal narrative becomes, I work best under pressure. And while that may be true, you're not consciously aware of how over-identifying with that narrative makes you more susceptible to being overextended, overworked, and underappreciated. But there's a hidden cost to functioning like that for years. Not only does it affect your health, but you become excellent at maintaining things and keeping things from falling apart without ever fully making the progress you need to move your life in the direction you truly want to go. And so now that you've trained your nervous system to respond this way, your day gets filled with whatever feels most urgent. Then you respond based on what relieves the pressure fastest, what keeps everything running, and what prevents things from falling apart, not what strategically changes your future. And that's why so many of us feel exhausted while simultaneously feeling stuck. Because exhaustion and progress are not the same thing. And the dangerous part is, this pattern can feel incredibly responsible. It can even feel intelligent because you are, in fact, handling real things. You're ticking things off of your to-do list like no one else's business. The issue is not that the responsibilities you're handling are fake. The issue is the future that you actually desire, one where your health is better, one where you have more time with your family. The future you see where you're actually living in your purpose keeps getting pushed further and further behind resolving immediate pressure. And you do this again and again and again until you wake up and realize that years have passed and you've spent most of those years surviving weeks that you never actually wanted to repeat. Black women didn't learn this pattern randomly. Many of us learned to stay alert, to stay on top of things, to anticipate problems before they explode, and to handle pressure quickly. Because for a long time, missing something could carry real consequences. So over time, your system adapts. Respond first, recover later. Handle everything now, think later. And eventually, reactivity becomes your default way of moving. Not direction, not intention, reaction. And once urgency becomes your default, your life starts organizing itself around interruption. Not intention, not purpose, not what actually creates the relief you desperately need. So you tell yourself, I'll focus on me later. I'll rest after I finish this. I'll think about my next steps later. But later never comes because there will always be another urgent thing waiting to grab your attention, especially in environments built on overstimulation, instability, and constant demand. This is why living in a constant state of overwhelm reshapes people's futures. It's not because they lack ambition, it's not because you lack intelligence, but it's because fragmented attention makes long-term strategy difficult. You cannot consistently build anything while constantly recovering. You cannot hear yourself or connect to your spirit clearly while mentally overcrowded. And you cannot create a different future while the majority of your energy is going towards maintaining the current one. And this is exactly why I'm hosting a live event this month for Black women. Because many of us do not need more motivation. We need orientation. We need frameworks that help us recognize these patterns in real time. We need to recondition our nervous system to stop operating in constant reaction. We have to reclaim our attention and begin to move strategically again, because the cost of remaining mentally fragmented is only getting higher. And if you know that you've been stuck in this cycle and you can't afford to live another year like this, I want you to save your seat right now. I've left the link in the description of this video. There will be no replays, but this event is completely free. So don't waste any time. Click the link, register, and make sure that you get inside of the WhatsApp group that is attached to this event. So I want to make it clear. You don't lose access to the future that you want all at once. You lose it in fragments, in constant interruption, in chronic redirection. You lose it in years of postponing your own needs to stabilize everything else around you. And that's the real cost. Not just stress, but time, direction, capacity, and your vision. And the world is becoming less forgiving of this type of disorientation. And the women who are going to move differently in the coming years are the women who learn how to protect their attention, their nervous system, their clarity, and their direction. They're the women who learn how to do this on purpose. So now the question becomes, what is urgency continually pulling you away from? Is it your health? Is it your peace? Is it financial advancement? Is it your relationship with the people you love? Is it your next level? Because if your attention is always being claimed by immediate pressure, your life will continue organizing itself around survival instead of strategy. So if you're ready to stop living in constant reaction and start moving instead with intention, clarity, and direction, you need to be in this live event that I'm hosting. So again, I'm going to remind you to save your seat. Go ahead and register now. The link is in the description. And if you're a Black woman who is tired of constantly surviving overwhelm and you're ready to move differently, subscribe. Because this space is about helping Black women see clearly, stabilize strategically, and build intentionally. So remember, Black women first.